What is going what is going on YouTube? This is Acidic Roots on Frontier Talents YouTube pitch like that. So when they say type phrase, this is talking about the recent type fairs like the recent type aspects of the mishap with Cuba and things that first within the pitch like the goings on. So within things the pitches, particularly apparently Cuba has had like oil cutoffs as far as these physical happen, which has caused like blackouts and fairs like that. Sense of pitches amongst like Venezuelan oil exports have been cut off within certain type phrase, and particular Mexico also stopping shipments within pitch like this. The hit type phrase for us saying particular foreign airlines are suspending flights to islands. This pitch for us saying particularly some kind of particular kind of political type mishap pitch like that within the phrase. The reason why for that within pitch for us saying particular Cuba apparently has the particular aspects of human rights type abuses and affairs like that, sense that pitches with an aspect as far as talking about phrases like communism and affairs like that within sense that pitches as far as talking about the aspect of like similar to like Venezuela type fairs with an aspect as far as like a regime type fair that just has like a more kind of aspect within the type tone. There's been aspects as far as hostility with United States and Cuba as far back as like the 60s, since like the Cold War era is pitched like that. So it's within hit that phrase for us. But the aspects as far as talking about it within the pitch, definitely the aspects as far as saying getting towards Cuba's culture and the phrase of getting towards the pitch of getting towards the pitch of Cuba's culture and the phrase of it getting back on tracks for us who's pitching out. It feels like the aspect as far as like the aspect, like the tone of talking about the the dialect and like the fairs, like the diplomacy that kind of goes along with getting things back on track within Sunset Fairs makes you question within the first place is the reason why within Sunset Pitches to why the mishaps kind of taking like the transit type fairs for this pitch kind of within the opinion of now I realize the aspect as far as talking about diplomacy with Sunset Pitches has the aspect like the grafting that goes along with like the transaction of the conversations and the aspect that goes along with like the actual negotiations and politicking, but the fair as far as saying it seems like with them Frey when he put the shit on paper as far as those first game, it seems like the door is being kicked wide open for Cuba to kind of fatten their wallets and get some football teams out there as far as this pitch game. With the aspects for us in the particular fray, it seems like the United States having the aspect of the interest in like the Cuban and the Florida area and pitch like that, the Gulf of Mexico sense that fares with them pitch as far as getting trade and commerce and stuff fares kind of going with the pitch like that for like a shipment type fray, kind of similar to like what's going on with like the Iran type fair with like the Strait of Hormuz and pitch like that is having like an active kind of shipment type center that would have a lot of good. Now it seems like it was already like that within the first place, but I don't know within the mishap, me not knowing the whole goings on within the phrase like the economic type boon and pitch like that. It's just the phrase for us saying, but paying attention within like the hit type deal, it seemed like the be some good nice phrase. It appears that like Cuba particularly has like mishap within the phrase as far as just like not being as full blown predominant within sense of baskets like the full bound touch sense is kind of pitched. I don't know how many sports teams they have out there and pitch like that, but just the phrase as far as getting like the product of breaking bread, getting towards these products as far as like shipment type fairs within the aspect like the as far as port type fair and just the aspect of like the commerce type circulation and pitch like that. So hit that phrase definitely would say within these aspects would be a good opportunity. Now within the fray, Cuba definitely has like aspects of just being like a more main spread type Florida pitch like that, just separate from the United States for this first game. But it's definitely pitch for us saying definitely get to us the phrase some of this extra type money, which may not as full bound type sure it's like the full bound velocity like their common not sure I like the full blown type phrase, I like their economy pitch like that, but put a Universal Studios out there, put down like the pitchforks on stuff phrase pitch like that's kind of fair as far as saying. That's not to say full blown within those type pitches, but this seems like the product, if the mishap kind of deals with like the tension that goes along with it, just deals with like the pitch, like the regime type fair, and just the pitch of like the kind of human rights type aspects within pitch like that kind of fair, just questioning if they're kind of like Iran and folks like that since the pitch, not to say full blown, but just the pitch of whether or not the government's kind of one sided and pitch like that since the phrase. It's kind of aspects for us saying paying attention towards it, but being able to say put down the pitchforks within those aspects, get towards some of those type phrase. Law and order is fine within those type pitches, but it seems like it probably needs to have more with like a Kevin Hart type mentality instead of like Lawrence Fishburne or Kevin Spacey as far as this first game. It's just one pitch for us saying another product. I can't say it's full bound, just not knowing the designation behind some of those type phrase, but just kind of the product. Whether or not whether or not that's like the get up as far as those particular type phrase kind of happen within like the pitch as far as talking about within the aspect as far as saying that The aspect of mishap would kind of be within the phrase as far as saying the aspect of mishap would be within the tone as far as saying this differential typeness within beliefs and first like that. So it just feels like they're just the particular deal or like negotiations short of getting like some particular kind of economic boom and pitch like that as far as this first kind of just an aspect like some surges. So pitch for us saying this particular fray of like the gettings on of what's going on here since it pitches feels like a recruitment episode for like a gym membership or rehab as far as this first kind of just the doctors and some of these type convinces going along with it. Definitely doctors in circle kind of saying quell the Diet Pepsis and foreign communism tirades, pitch like that sends a phrase, get like some cleaner type fares in your system, first like that, switch up your inner circle and near do wells, folks like that. That's another type phrase as far as hostile kind of foreign power kind of affiliation, Russia, China, some stuff, folks. Switch up your inner circle, near do wells, pitch like that, and influences as far as this first having practice to how the the habitual type of just flourishing mentalities kind of get and just get some hobbies like gambling and commerce and get towards the product getting like some hobbies like gambling and commerce centers with like organic kind of recycles for those physically within pitch kind of and haphazardly being sarcastic with hobbies like gamble within those sub pitches if it's going to cause if it's going to cause mishap and pitch like that. But just the phrase definitely some commerce centers pitch like that just with organic recyclable just with organic recycles, as far as like the first gonna have within the resuscitation of some of those stuff, versus keeping like the commodity of routine type for within the pitch and keeping that particular aspect like the flourish kind of going with the pitch like that. But is this the phrase as far as once again, I don't know as full bound like the prior type aspects and like the pitch as far as talking about some of those hit that phrase and the tone of just like how the fares were kind of ballistically kind of jumping within the beforehand. But it's just some good nice pitches kind of being the product of getting past like the possible type of bogusness and pitch like that, just getting towards the fray of some new projected type shipments of like trade and like particular ideas and ideal trade ideas and ideology that could particularly flourish for a number of phrases that could make like a good docking type and make for like some good docking and shipment type pools to kind of really get the aspect of like a explosion going pitch like that.